Okay. Well, let's see if anything wants to work this time, I guess. I don't know. This is just it's just acting all kinds of funky today, I guess. I mean, it's pretty rare that we have any kind of stream problems as it is, let alone this is the first time we've ever had any kind of a problem during a cooking stream. So that's definitely very out of the ordinary. Yeah, no kidding, Spam. Good luck, have fun, do good, don't die, kill all, ally victory, no BS. That's what we need. Holy crap. Maybe we can actually, maybe we can make the dish. I don't know. I don't know how many more... Like, I'm just not sure. Yeah, Comcast is the internet provider that I use. It's the only option that I really have. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll get started again and we'll see how it wants to do. Let's see how long it can last. Yeah. I don't know. It seems to be pretty timely, you know what I mean? It seems to be pretty timely. Better for it to happen now than halfway through, though. Well, I guess, I suppose. But I mean, I can't, you know, stuff doesn't keep staying good. So it's not like I can come back and do it with the same ingredients again later. What's up, Choco? How's it going, man? Hopefully we can stay online this time. Alright, well, I don't know. Let's give it a shot. We'll see what wants to happen and what does not want to happen, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, well, let's get rocking and rolling again. So like I said, we're making Konigsberger Klopse, and it's meatballs in caper sauce. So it's the most complex dish that we've ever done on the cook stream, so it's going to be pretty exciting for that. And what we're going to be doing is cooking the meatballs in a broth, and we need to get that broth going right now. Someday I hope to get rocket fire where that shit is amazing. Oh my god, that would be so good. So good. Absolutely amazing. Alright, so let's try again. Alright, turn the heat on. We have vegetable broth in here, 1 liter of vegetable broth. We want enough broth so that we're going to have no problem like having the meatballs covered and being able to simmer. So we're going to bring this up to a boil and we'll turn it back down to a simmer. But we need to add some more things into this broth. We're going to have, if the internet doesn't want to stay stable, then we'll have to do a speed cook. We'll have to get it down real fucking quick. Alright, so we're going to need some peppercorns, some whole black peppercorns. We're going to use 1 bay leaf. We're going to throw a bay leaf in there. It's actually a little bit on the old side. Maybe I could use 2 bay leaves, but I'm just going to use 1. I think that should be fine since I'm making a pretty small batch. Because otherwise I'd have to do multiple batches of meatballs, and that takes a long time, so I ain't doing that. It's so complicated, Twitch can't even handle it. Yeah, that's right. Alright, so for the peppercorns, just using like a handful of peppercorns just like that. Gonna add those in as well. And the other thing I need to do is add a onion. 1 onion, small onion quartered. I've got a couple of very small onions here. You know what I need? I need a trash thing. Let me grab something to put the trash in. Oh, nothing in there. Just grab a bowl in there. So it's a little crappy plastic bowl. That should be enough trash for me. Okay. So just going to cut the ends off. Just like that. I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to peel the onion. Alright, looks like we're not dead yet. We're not dead yet, boys. This onion, like I said, is quite small, but I do want to get the skin off of it. To be honest, I don't think it would really matter if you got this skin in on the onion. You could probably just literally chop it in half, just root and all. but it's a little bit bitter. So 1 small onion, quartered. Get that in there. Very nice. Okay, now that is all that we're going to do with that broth. That is it. Why are you crying then if we're not dead? Why are you crying? Because the onions, they get me so emotional. Okay, so that's all we need to do for the broth, and once that gets up to a boil, I'm going to turn it back down to a simmer. You don't want to cook meatballs in boiling water. It's just going to kind of make them all rubbery and stuff, and they're not going to be too pleasant. Okay, so let's see. Next thing we got to do is we got to get the stuff together for the meatballs. So what we're going to need is 1 roll. You could use a stale roll, or you could just use breadcrumbs. Probably for this, like we're using, like I said, we're doing a pretty small batch here. So normally I would be using 2 rolls, but I'm just having everything in the recipe for this. So I'm going to be using a serrated knife, and we're going to kind of cube up into small pieces this roll. There we go. That's totally fine. Perfect. You're getting hungry already. Nice. Perfect. That's what we want. Okay, we'll get that in there, and I'll go ahead and lift up the cutting board. Always have a wet towel or wet paper towel underneath your cutting board, so that way it's not going to slide around while you are using it. So we have the bread cubed up in there, and we're going to add some whole milk to that. Don't have to add a whole lot, really just kind of need to get enough so that it's going to, that's probably like way too much, but that's fine. It's just wasting a little bit of milk. So we're just going to let the milk kind of sit in here. Samwise with the resub 3 months in a row. Can we get a bunch of wasps in chat? To welcome Samwise back to the Wasp Car. Thank you so very much. So we've got some breadcrumbs soaking in milk there, and we'll come back to that later when we add it into the meatballs. I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. Starting to come up to a simmer here. I'll turn it down as soon when it hits a boil. Thank you so much for the continued support, Samwise. Thanks for helping keeping the content alive, man. Appreciate it oh so very much. Okay, next on the list is I have a very large bowl here that we're going to. No, bad parsley. I have a very large bowl that we're going to be adding that we're going to be making our meatballs in. So, typically for these meatballs, there's a couple of ways to do it. You could use ground veal. What I'm using is a 1/4 pound of ground pork and a 1/4 pound of ground beef. And that is boiling, so we're going to turn that way down. Just bring it back down to a simmer. Perfect. Okay, so like I said, I have a 1/4 pound of ground pork and a 1/4 pound of ground beef. What's up, Wolina? How's it going, man? Welcome back. Good to see you. Okay, we got that. So I'll get this out of the way. And to this, we're going to be adding a few things. I actually have the stuff written down up here because it's kind of hard for me to remember all this stuff. I'm going to set this. I kind of wish I had a little bit more room around here, but that's okay. To this, we are going to be adding a finely chopped onion, 50-50 beef and pork. Yep, absolutely, Frisk. But you could use ground veal. I've seen that. Apparently, that's the traditional way of doing it. But it's also more expensive. So beef and pork is what I have used every time that I've made this dish. So we'll cut off the ends of the onion as always. And we'll go ahead and cut the onion in half. And we're going to peel the onion here. Hope we're all having a fantastic weekend. When did you invite us to eat with you? No, that's not. You gotta make for yourself and invite me over to eat with you, Choco. That's not. I'm not making food for everybody. That's not how this works. Not no way, not no how. Alright, so we've got, like I said, this is a very small onion. If I were making the larger batch, I mean, you could I just got like a bag of smaller onions just because these onions are about the perfect size for me, because that way I don't have to like put any onions away after. I just use a whole onion for when I'm making like hash for myself or something like that. But when doing onions, as always, you want to, when you're chopping anything, you always want to make sure you keep your fingertips back. We're using our knuckles to actually guide the knife blade down, just like this. So we're going to be using the knife to cut about 3/4 of the way through the onion, and we're using our knuckle to guide the knife down. So we have this very kind of thin slice, and then we're going to do one horizontal cut. It's not necessary, but it makes it a little bit more fine. And then just up and down, again, using the knuckle. Don't have your fingertips out, have them back, and don't let your thumb slide forward, because that is the way that you're going to cut yourself, most likely. Okay, and so we just when we get to the end of that, we just lay it flat down. And then we have the little root end there, and I'm just not even going to use that. Okay, we're going to be adding that in. Exactly. I love you, but not enough to feed you. There's no root end on that. It already came off. So, again, I'm going to get this out of the way. Using our knuckles to help guide the knife down. And when you're doing, if you do the horizontal cut here, don't cut up. Don't angle the knife up. Angle it down and keep your fingers up top. Okay? Otherwise, if you slip, you're going to get yourself cut. And again, when we get to the end, we lay it down flat. Okay. You picked up mushrooms in the forest. You're going to cook them. Nice, Choco. Awesome, man. That sounds really good. Okay, so we have our onion chopped in and added into that. Next up, we can add about 1/2 tablespoon of parsley. We can add into that. Really, you can add this in any order that you want, and when we start mixing it together, that's when you can kind of worry about that. But I just have some parsley flakes here, and we're going to add about 1/2 tablespoon, just kind of eyeballing that, not having to be real super precise. I'll put that back away. Okay, let's see. Next up, we're going to go ahead and add some lemon zest. I think I didn't rinse this lemon off, so one second, let me rinse it off real quick. Got rinsed off and wiped off. Alright. I'm going to turn that broth up just a little bit. I just want to see a little bit of a simmer going on there. It's a little bit low. It's just moving. I just want to see just a little bit of moving, a little bit more movement on that broth. Okay, so we're going to use the zest of this lemon, and if you have like a little micro plane, then that would be cool, or if you have a cheese grater with a fine thing, that would be cool. I got this as a gift, this little zester. So you don't want to like dig in. You don't want to go really deep into the lemon if you're using zest, because that's going to be really bitter. You want the kind of bright, kind of fragrance of just the outer zest. And I'm not going to put this like right into there, because these are kind of big strips. And the first time I made them, they were kind of like little stringy bits of lemon. So I'm going to actually chop them up a little bit more fine once I get this done. But I'm just going to add the zest of one lemon. We're going to be using the lemon juice for the sauce. So we will come back to this lemon later. I think the zester is a little bit unnecessary. It is definitely not something that I would ever use, and I would recommend just getting like a little microplane to do your zesting in, because you can use it for more than just like one thing. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Alright, so we have a lot of lemon zest here, and it's a little bit, like I said, it's a little bit too long of strips, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of go over that. So like what I'm doing here is like a cross chop, and it's just like I have my hand on the front end of the knife, and I have my holding position kind of normally how you'd hold the knife here, and I'm just lifting up and putting it back down. Not having my, you notice I have my hands my left hand kind of flat, not having my hand in the way of that. So there we go, got that nice and finely chopped. Add that into there. Okie dokie. Beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's really great. Okay, next thing I'm going to add is going to go ahead and be, let's see, I could add the egg, or I could add anchovies. I'm going to go ahead and add the egg first. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Before I chop the anchovies, so I don't have to worry about my knife being all anchovy-y, I'm going to cut this lemon in half, because we're going to use that later for the juice for the sauce, just to get that out of the way. Are you playing anything after cooking? Normally we stream every day at 2 p.m. Eastern, but today, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do our standard stream, which lately we've been doing a whole lot of FTL speed runs. But unfortunately today, just the cook stream, but it is going to take a while. So I've got a little jar of anchovies here, and we're going to use like 3 fillets here. If you really don't like anchovies, you can not put anchovies in it. But I mean, they're like pungent, but when added into the meatballs, like I like anchovies normally. Like I would have anchovies on a pizza, and I wouldn't mind it at all. Like they're quite delicious, I think. But in the meatballs, you know, I would definitely say at least try it in the meatballs, because I think it's really fantastic, and it adds like a really great depth of flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out a few fillets, the anchovy. Okay, that is 3 anchovy fillets right there. We'll get this lid back on. Get that out of the way. And we're going to finally mince up this. You can use anchovy paste if you have it. I don't. So anchovies is what I'm going to use. So just like when we minced up the lemon zest, we're doing the same thing here. I'm going to have to get the stuff off of the knife just a little bit, but we'll go over this very carefully. Alright. That looks good. Alrighty. Let me get this in there. That knife wiped off. I don't think I need my knife for anything else. Let me double check. I got both onions chopped up. We got parsley, lemon zest. Just need a couple of eggs. And flour, butter. One more egg yolk. Okay, I think we're good with the knife anyway. Anchovies. Don't be upset with anchovies. Smelly, smelly, smelly. That smells smelly. Yes, anchovies do smell. They're not bad. You just gotta give anchovies a try, you know? Alright? Just because you don't like eating raw anchovies doesn't mean that they can't add a depth of flavor to a dish and add something to a dish to make it something amazing as opposed to just okay. So I would recommend giving them a try, even if you don't like anchovies, because it's not like they overpower it. It's not like they do. But if you really don't want to, you don't have to. I got this milk put away. Okay, let's see. Next up, I'm going to need an egg. And I'm going to use one egg for this. Normally I would use 2 eggs, but this is half. Yeah, it's a half thing. So getting the quarter pound of each, the quarter pound of ground pork and ground beef, and we're going to add 1 egg to this. I think I might add actually 1 egg and then 1 egg white, because I need a yolk for the sauce. But anyway, add 1 egg into that. And the reason I got this little container here is because I'm going to need a yolk for the sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and get that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack this right into my hand, just like this, and we're going to kind of catch the yolk and let the white fall, is the idea, anyway. And we're kind of going to we can kind of put it back and forth between our hands here, and just keep the yolk and let that fall. I do it over this instead of in the container, so that way if I do accidentally drop the yolk, it goes into a container and not into the meatball, so that way it's a little bit easier to fish out. So this is the yolk that I need for my sauce. I'm just going to go ahead and put the white into there, and that's what I would normally do with a larger batch, so hopefully that extra egg white doesn't screw with the meatballs too much, but I think we'll be fine. So I'll put that egg yolk off to the side. What's up, Cannon? How's it going, man? You're not a Ninja Turtle. Well, too bad. You got to try some anchovies anyway. Jeez. You still got to try them. Okay, so that is everything that we're going to be needing for the meatballs. I got to go ahead and wash off my hands really quick, and I'll take this cutting board away as well, because I don't think I need it anymore. Okay. Now, doing great. How about you? I am doing fan-freaking-tastic, Cannon. Thank you for asking. Thank you so very much. You'd rather have an anchovy than a green pepper on a pizza. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, now, remember we have the breadcrumbs soaking in milk, so we're going to need those as well. But before I do that, really quick, I'm shaking my hands out. I'm trying to get them super, super dry because I'm going to put some gloves on for mixing the meatballs together. I really like having gloves for this part. Better use that burst laser 3. Man, Chops, I don't want to use that. What's in the pan boiling? I actually need to turn that down just a little bit. I don't want that to be boil it quite like that. There we go. It's perfect. We have some vegetable broth with 1 onion quartered, 1 bay leaf, and some black peppercorns. And that is what we're going to be cooking our meatballs in. Okay. So grabbing a couple of gloves, just some vinyl gloves here. If you're getting, like I just go to the medical section of the store, just make sure you get gloves that don't have powder on them. Although powder will make it easier to get the gloves on. You don't want baby powder in your food, as it turns out. What's up, Marlix? How's your Sunday going? And what is up, Zuff, as well? My girlfriend wants to get you an egg separator. What's wrong with using my hands? Why would I buy, as Alton Brown would say, a unitasker when I got the perfect multitaskers right here? All right, so I don't want all of this milk that's on the breadcrumbs have been soaking in. So we're going to kind of squeeze the milk out of them. We're just going to kind of wring them out, and I just want a little bit with them here. That's going to help the meatballs stay nice and moist. Okay, good, just like that. All right, let's start mixing. That wonderful, wonderful meatball sound. Baby powder from freshly ground babies, that's right. Yeah, maybe that extra egg white was a little bit much. Maybe it's a little bit too much moisture here, but it'll be okay. Maybe. Maybe it will. Alright. So now, what we're going to do is, kind of got our stuff all pretty well mixed together. Looking good. Cool. That looks fine. I'm going to need a little bit of a baking sheet is what I like to usually use. And just so that way I can set the meatballs on it and not have to really worry about it sticking at all. Really doing his own recipe? Outrageous! You normally use water, but I forgive you. You normally use water? Well, that's too bad. I'm not making it like you can. Alright, so we don't want to make the meatballs too big. That might be a little bit too large here. Yeah, there we go. A little bit bigger than a golf ball, really, is kind of what I'm going for. Yeah, there's certainly all kinds of ways to make this dish. I'm hoping to only get 4 meatballs out of this so I can cook it all in that pot at the same time. Looks like I'm going to have more than 4 though. Well, I don't want to make it too big or it's not going to cook right. I'll do that. Got 4 here. I've got a little bit extra. Maybe I can spread this between these other 3. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Oh, they're whopping size meatballs. Yeah, they're a little bit on the big side, to be honest. Maybe I should just commit to not just having a 5th meatball here. You don't want to overcrowd the pan or the water you have with the meatballs, or because they're not going to cook evenly. All right, we're just gonna have 5. That's gonna be fine. This one's pretty small. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and set these into the broth here. Gently, gently, gently. Ever so gently. There we go. Put this 4th one in here. Just barely. And the small one is just going to have to, yeah, that's pretty crowded in there. Pretty crowded. Let me get this out of the way. Alright, I got a little slotted spoon here, and I'm just going to kind of see if I can get them. Nah, it's just not going to happen. This one's just an extra meatball. It's just going to have to be extra. I'm going to set this over here. Okay. Alright, so now I got to set a timer for 15 minutes. When you add those in there, they're going to be a little bit, it's going to cool the water down quite a bit. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. They can be done a little bit faster than that. You can take out the onions to get more space. That's alright. I'll just leave it like that. What you making, bro? It looks interesting. We are making Konigsberger Klopse is what we're making. I'm going to get this bowl out of the way. Okay, so we got a little bit of time here. we got a little bit of time here while the meatballs simmer. And remember, like I said, you don't want to have this stuff, you don't want it to be boiling. You're going to end up with really rubbery meatballs. You can give them a turn every once in a while, but really, I shouldn't really be screwing with them right now. Just going to let them sit. So, we're going to get a few things ready. Set this over here. We'll have to cook that one later. What's up, JFKs? How's it going, man? Welcome back. Great to see you. So while that's simmering, we can get some of the other stuff ready here. And what we're going to go ahead and get ready is we need some butter and flour to make our roux for the sauce. And we already have our egg yolk here. And we are going to use 1 tablespoon of capers. And if you've never had a caper, it's really nothing quite like a caper. I've eaten one raw, and I wouldn't really necessarily recommend it, but it was definitely pretty intense, to say the least. I think it's kind of tastes a little bit like nail polish remover. It's like a very intense, and generally to eat one raw is an unpleasant experience in my opinion. But I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly what I was working with. But we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of capers in the sauce, and I do need to get some butter and flour going, or not. I don't need to get it ready because we got plenty of time here while we're waiting for the meatballs to cook. And what I'm going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to be utilizing the broth that the meatballs are cooking in, and we're going to be making the sauce out of that. So I have a strainer here, and I could pour it directly into the pan that I'm doing the sauce in, but I'm probably just going to go ahead and pour it into this first, and then use this to pour it into there. And I'll do this over the sink just so that way, because I always make too big of a mess with it, so I'd rather just do it over the sink. But we'll get to that part when we get to that part. And the other thing that I do is usually when I'm doing this, at least a couple of times that I've done it, I always end up with, you have to do it in a couple of batches of meatballs. I'm doing a very small batch here, so, excuse me, doing a very small batch, so I'm able to do it all at once. And I'll even use a larger pan, like a larger kind of, pot, to be able to cook even more in, but I usually end up having to do a couple of batches. So what I typically do is I have this large casserole dish here, and I would preheat the oven, and when the first batch of meatballs are done, put them in the casserole dish, put a lid over it, put it in the oven, just at like 250 degrees Fahrenheit to just to keep it nice and warm, not to overcook it or anything like that, while the other batch of meatballs is going. But I'm going to set this off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and get some flour ready. And we're going to be needing 50 grams of flour. Got a little bowl here. I'm going to tear that. Okay, and we're going to need 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of butter. And you want to do it by weight, not by volume or anything like that. What's up, No Friendly? How's your Sunday going? It's a weed scale. Yeah. It's for our smoke leaf distribution. Okay. So like that, perfect. And for the butter, it's about 1/3 of a stick, just if you're looking to eyeball it or whatever. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want it to be real close. So go ahead and cut that. That should be about, right, gotta re-tear it. 42, 41. Okay. I'll go ahead and open up this stick of butter, and we'll just add a little bit more to it. This has been sitting out for just a little bit, so it's quite soft. And then I'll just go ahead and add, I'll put this back on here. 41, hang on. Let me open this up too, so I don't just make a mess. It's not a tube of toothpaste, Billy. It is butter. 49 grams, perfect. That's fine. It's quite a bit, but I'm actually making the amount of sauce that I would make for a normal full batch of the meatballs. Just FYI. So we're actually it's more sauce than what we need. It's going to be really thick and really creamy and really delicious, though. It's going to be really awesome. That flour is measured by volume because it sucks water in itself pretty quickly. No, you definitely want to, when making a roux, you want to do it by. You don't want to measure flour by volume because, like, you could get this amount of flour into like a very small amount because it has a lot of air in it. Like, you could smash it down and get way more into it than what you might want. So you can end up with, like, if you're making cookies, yeah, you definitely need to, or baking, doing any kind of baking, you need to be measuring your flour by weight, not by volume. You have a question? Do you guys in the U.S. using some kind of, do you guys are using some kind of hard to explain because I didn't find translation. Wild mushrooms, example, Boletus. Technically, your explanation for mushrooms is a mushroom which can be cultivated. Wild mushrooms just can't. I don't know what you mean, Wolina. I'm not sure. I'll get this off to the side. And we still have another 7 minutes to go on our meatballs. I'm going to go ahead and give them a little turn here. Alright. Sometimes the peppercorns will stick to the meatballs, so you could usually just kind of knock them around a little bit. Just knock them around a little bit and they'll come around. They'll come around. No big deal. So we have our butter, we have our flour, and we have our capers. What's up, Maldarian? How's it going? How long are the meatballs cooking? They're cooking for 15 minutes. They could cook between 12 and 15. We're going to go on the little bit of a longer side, though, 4 games. 15 minutes, though, is how long I have the timer set for. So we have 6 minutes, 50 seconds remaining. The timer on that microwave. All right, let me get this out of the way. Let me think. What other stuff am I going to need? We have our egg yolk. We have our lemon halved, which we're going to be using the juice for. We have our capers ready to go. We have flour and butter. That's it. I got my pan over here. We got our stuff ready to strain. And I have room in the sink now to do that in, to strain that through. Mushrooms are gross. Mushrooms aren't gross. Mushrooms are amazing. If you think mushrooms are gross, I think that you probably just haven't had the right cooked mushrooms. Because, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that maybe I didn't enjoy as a kid or growing up, and then I had it cooked in some different way than what I was used to, and it turned out to be absolutely phenomenal. Mushrooms are better than anchovies. They're two different things. They're two different things. What's wrong with anchovies? Oh, man. If you buy them from the shop, they are not that good. Well, I mean, yeah, it depends on how they prepare them, I guess. It depends on how they prepare them. So, I guess a couple of things that I read about Konigsberger Klopse while we're kind of waiting for the meatballs to finish up here. Apparently, it was Konigsberg was a city in Prussia, which is where the name Konigsberger Klopse comes from. So that's a little something. The city is now known as Kaliningrad, I believe, is what the city is called now. So not Konigsberg anymore. But that's definitely kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a weird little tidbit that I read while learning about the dish. And see, normally you'd want to kind of use white pepper in this dish, which we haven't. You know what? I actually forgot to put salt and pepper into the meatballs. Ah, crap. Should have put salt and pepper in those meatballs. I just forget. Konigsberger? Is that what it is? Thank you, Friskins. Friskins knows. See, I'm not a huge fan of cauliflower, but I love broccoli. I love broccoli, though. So you could use white pepper. Typically in the sauce for this dish, we're going to be using black pepper because I don't have white pepper. As far as a side with this dish, I'm going to be using rice. I've got rice in a rice cooker right now. But boiled potatoes, pretty traditional thing to have with this. Or beetroots, apparently. I've never had beetroots before, so I'm not really familiar with it. Maybe somebody that knows a little bit more about that could expand on that. But again, we're using a quarter pound of ground beef and a quarter pound of ground pork. But veal is something that is definitely, it's a little bit more expensive, but you could use that in place of either pork or beef. Just use that instead of mixing those two together. No white, only black. Is Billy a cooking racist? Man, I don't have, who has white pepper? Who's got white pepper lying around? 0 people. No salt, catastrophic failure. Yeah, that's alright. It's cooking in a very salty broth right now. In Poland, for example, officially we have around 50 different types of mushrooms which are edible. The amount of aroma and taste can't be compared with mushrooms. Oh, I see. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely like the standard mushroom that you would typically get from like a pizza restaurant or things like that. But I mean, if you like, I guess if you were like really, if you were at all interested in getting into mushrooms, like there's definitely, you know, you could have your fill of all kinds of different varieties. But yeah, there's definitely like the kind of cut out version, like cut out standard canned mushroom kind of thing that you typically get on a pizza. Sure. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, exactly. Like Mangled said, portobello is the one that you kind of see everywhere. And if you see like just like canned mushrooms, it's typically just portobello for sure. When we're going to be doing the sauce, by the way, another thing is when we're doing the egg yolk, you don't just drop the egg yolk into the sauce, because then you'll just end up with kind of a cooked egg. You'll end up with a scrambled egg. We don't want that, so we're going to be kind of pulling a little bit of the sauce out with a spoon and then mixing it with the egg, and then just by little, we're going to temper the egg while we're doing that. Champic dogs, yeah, that's the champagne mushrooms for the pizzas. Yeah, it's another pretty kind of standard thing. Absolutely. Let me take a look at this. We got 1 minute remaining on these meatballs. 1 minute and counting. Oh, it smells freaking delicious, let me tell you guys. You're missing out. Okay, so now that that's getting nice and close, I'm going to go ahead and let me get my pot over here. I'm going to go ahead and get my butter placed in here right quick. Good. White pepper is good if you're making a dish with a white sauce, which is exactly what's going on with this one. It's not like it ruins the dish or anything like that, but it's definitely a visual thing, like you said, Scott, for sure. For sure, and it's not something that I would typically use, so it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to get. I don't think, definitely not. All right, so a little bit of time left on that. 15 seconds remaining. I'm just going to go ahead and shut that off. We'll let it go for just another little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and turn while I'm making the sauce, I'll go ahead and let the meatballs stay warm in the oven. So I'll have my, I'll go ahead and put them into my casserole dish thing here. And then we'll put that into the oven and make sure it stays nice and warm. The difference between pizza mushrooms and the other is, the they didn't figure out how to grow them yet. They had gathered in the forest or something. I was just curious if you guys, do you guys using them at all? I mean, I'm still not for sure what specific mushrooms that you're talking about, but if I'm familiar with the ones that you're talking about, Willina, then yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we use for. Anytime that canned mushrooms are used, it's always that one kind. So that would probably be the case. I would imagine. Dum do 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 do. Alright, these are looking fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring this over closer to the casserole dish, and I'm going to try to not get all of these other, all the onion bits and stuff like that out of there. I do have a black peppercorn in there, that's okay. Yeah, I'll scoop it out. Okay. Get this going in here. This one scooped out as well. You can see there's a couple of black peppercorns in there. That's okay. That's okay, Billy promises. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and place this into the oven. Whoa, whoa, what are we cooking today? We're cooking Konigsberger Klopse is what we are doing, Gooba. Yeah, it's food. It's food. That's what it is. I'm going to go ahead and place that into the oven so they can stay nice and warm. And I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I have a strainer over this little kind of measuring cup with a spout on it. It's like the only thing that I have that has a spout, so I'm going to be pouring it into this so that way I can not get the peppercorns, the bay leaf, and the onion, stuff like that. This is definitely a complex dish is what it is. This is a fine meal. That's what we're cooking. Okie doke, so now we have our broth here, very fatty, very nice, very thick, and we're going to go ahead and get the heat going on this butter. Let me see if I can, the sides on this are a bit tall. Let's see if I can bring you guys over here so I can kind of show you a little bit closer what we're doing. One second. Hold on, boys. We're going for a ride. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and... Oh, does that look good? Looks good, looks better. Okay, a little bit closer, a little bit more personal. Get it in here, camera's in the way. Okay, we're gonna put this just on kind of a low, medium low, and we'll get this butter cooked down. We're moving! Whoa! I know. I'll just go ahead and kind of break up this butter just a little bit. We're gonna look for that to get all melted down, and then as soon as it starts to kind of bubble, then we're going to go ahead and add our flour. Motion sickness. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Getting there. Get in there. Alright. It's all nice and melted there. Okay. Okay, it's just starting to bubble. I don't know if you can, you probably can't hear it too well. Hear that? It's bubbling. And we'll go ahead and add in the flour. Remember, 50 grams of each. Add that in there. Keep stirring this. Don't let it clump up on you. And it's going to form a nice paste. And we're going to continue to, I'm not going to just, as soon as it kind of gets to be this paste, we're not going to just stop. We're going to keep it moving here. And we want to cook it for a little bit, because otherwise we're going to get kind of a grainy texture in the roux. And we don't want that. We don't want it to, it's going to kind of taste like, it's going to taste like raw flour. And raw flour is grainy and really not all that pleasant. So we're not interested in that. We want it to be, we want to cook it down just a little bit. And depending on, basically with a roux, like the longer you cook it, the more brown it's going to, like you don't want to burn it. Burning it is disgusting, but it's going to get more flavor the more you brown it. It's going to kind of get more of a nutty taste, but the more you cook it, the less it is going to thicken whatever it is that you're doing. So, no, that's plenty long. Still very white roux. And we're going to go ahead and add our broth. Just going to add about half of it and incorporate that. Get the rest of it in there. You guys are missing out. It smells really good. Just going to keep this mixing. I could use a whisk here, but it'll come together here. Come together. Right now, over me. All right, looking good. So, what we're going to go ahead and be adding now is we're going to be adding the juice of 1 lemon. You need smell-o-vision for this. You do, Spam. You really do. I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper to this first. Good bit of salt. Pepper, pepper, pepper. A few good grinds of that. Like I said, white pepper would be applicable for this. Don't have white pepper, so we're using black pepper. Alright. Now we're going to add the juice of 1 lemon. So I'm using my hand as a strainer here, just kind of to catch the any lemon seeds, right? I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. It's kind of bubbling a bit much. If you did get a lemon seed in there, it's not too bad. You could do it over a strainer if you wanted, if you really wanted to be careful, but it's really not that big of a deal if you get a lemon seed in there. It's all right. It's fine. Delicious. And that lemon really comes out in this sauce. It really kind of brightens it up. It's freaking fantastic. And now we're going to go ahead and do, like I said, we're going to add the egg yolk to it. But we can't just throw an egg yolk in there. We're going to get scrambled eggs. So I got a spoon here. I'm going to break up this egg yolk here. And I'm going to add just a little bit of the sauce to that. I'm going to mix it up. Grab a little bit of the sauce, add it in there, mix it up. We're tempering the eggs. We're bringing it up to temperature so that way we don't get scrambled eggs when we add this. It's going to richen the sauce and it's going to thicken it up even more. Adding this egg yolk in. Just like that. And when it's getting nice and now it's quite nice and hot, so we're going to go ahead and add that in now. Stir that in. Very nice. And remember the capers, boys? Remember the capers? We've got to add in our tablespoon of capers now. One tablespoon of capers. Get those in there. And we're going to let this just kind of simmer for a little bit. On the low, make sure that the flavor gets all nice and incorporated. Remember, like I said, the capers are really intense. It's not like they need a crazy amount of time to have their flavor added into there. Twitch Turbo gets the monkey emotes. Does Twitch Prime not get the monkey emotes? I thought Twitch Prime did. Oh no, I guess they don't. I don't know. I guess that's they might very well add that. You forgot I was cooking today. Uh-oh, Mozart. Uh-oh. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and set this stuff off to the side. Now we're gonna bring you guys back. We'll let this kind of sit. It's on low. Good. Looking good. I'll bring you guys back. You ready? Oh God. Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, whoop. Like that. It's pretty close. Oh, that's right. I moved the camera down. There we go. All right, that's good. Oh my God! Whoa! Sorry. I didn't give you enough. Yeah, we do a cook stream about once a month. I don't have a real consistent schedule with it, just because sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to get something that I'm really, really happy with for the cook stream and stuff like that. But about once a month is our time frame. Alright, now this is looking nice and thick. This is going to be just perfect. Grab a spoon. Can I grab a spoon without knocking you guys around? No. I'm going to move you. Look at how thick it is. It's nothing. It doesn't come off the spoon. Doesn't do none of that. A little bit more salt. Okay, that is going to be perfect. I'm going to turn the heat off of that, and we're going to grab out the Klopse from the oven. go. And like I said, we did a half batch, so we would have normally ended up with twice this many meatballs, so it definitely would fill up this particular casserole dish. But we are going to pour this sauce all over the meatballs. Just like that. And ooh, I forgot that was hot. That's okay. It's a little warm. Alright, now let me take a little gander here. And grab Scott Onesie Wilson's favorite bowl. We'll get it served up here right quick. Okay, so I've got one nice little bed of rice there. And look at this. Look at this. That right there . Come here, meatballs. Get out of the way. Thank you. That right there is some Konigsberger Klopse. That is done. You know what? If you wanted to be particularly fancy, you could take a little bit. Take a little bit of parsley, put that on top. That right there is absolutely amazing. I wish you guys could smell it because it is the nuts. What's up, James? How's it going? Happy Sunday to you. Man, we had such a rocky start with the stream today. Wasn't it rough? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. It took us a half an hour to actually get a stable stream connection, I guess. Man, it was rough. Get out of here, spoon. Get out of here. There we go. Nice. Saved. GG. GG, boys and girls. That right there is some delicious stuff. And I really hope that you guys go out there and give it a shot, because it is definitely worth the time. And it's definitely an interesting thing. The first time I made it, I was very skeptical of whether or not I was going to like it or not, but I tried it and it was absolutely fantastic. Take a bite, Billy. Eat it all up vicariously. I'm sorry, I'm not going to eat it on stream. I've eaten it a lot. I'm going to take off and go eat it. This is going to be my brunch, I guess. No problem. It's my pleasure to be streaming for you all. Now, another reminder that we will not be here for our 2 o'clock stream today. Normally we are here 7 days a week starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. Is it really brunch without booze? I have to bust out some booze. We have to bust out some booze. No social eating with Billy. No, not going to happen. So there won't be a 2 o'clock stream today, but I will be back Monday at 2. I wish I could be here for today's stream, but it's just not going to work out. Got some real life stuff to do. What's up, NJ Poolboy, by the way? GG. So what's up, Sword of Fear? I mean, I missed a bunch of people. I was kind of focused on the dish. Sorry about that, boys. But yeah. I definitely highly recommend giving this dish a try. It's a little bit different, and I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, don't skip the anchovies just because you might not like them, and don't skip the capers either because they are intense, and I would not recommend eating one raw. But they add a lot to the dish. So it's more at like 6 days a week. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. More like 8 days a week. All right, so I will be back Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you had a great time. I had a really awesome time. Whether you were lurking or chatting or you're a sub or follower, I appreciate the support oh so very much. Definitely a pretty long cook stream today. Definitely pretty long, especially because it took us so long to get started, right? So, yeah. Like I said, I hope you had a great time. I had a great time. I will see you all Monday at 2. Mondays are our kind of off day where we do something completely different. We're going to be continuing with Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker on Monday. So we'll catch you later, Maldarian, and Zuff, and Frisk, and Marsh, and Spam, in a Can, and Savakuro, and Cannon, and Heartbreaks, and Silence, and Frisk, and Nada, and Maldarian. I will see you all tomorrow at 2. So I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day and evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's time to sit back, relax, and have a good time. So it's time to get out there and do it. We'll see you later. See you tomorrow at 2. We'll see you later, Eco and Masox and 2 Islands. We'll see you tomorrow at 2. Peace.